What is going on, everyone? I'm Adriano and welcome back to my series on reading, transforming, and writing data with AWS Glue using PySpark. This video is about how we can change data types of a field/columns in a dynamic frame in AWS Glue with PySpark. I'm going to walk through an example to do this without needing to convert your dynamic frame to a Spark data frame, and how we can use the built-in AWS Glue transform to achieve this. So sometimes when your glue job infers your schema, it might not get all the field's data types quite right. So when you're working with semi-structured or structured data, we can tell Glue which is the right data type to use. All right, so let's walk through an example of using a JSON dataset stored in Amazon S3. All right, so I'm in a Jupyter notebook that is leveraging interactive Glue sessions. As you can see here, I've configured some Glue magics already, so I've limited my number of workers to 1, and I'm using Glue 3.0. So after we import the base Python libraries that come when we create a new Glue job, the next step is we need to read our data from our data source. So in my case, I'm reading my data from Amazon S3, and I've used the create dynamic frame from option method to create my dynamic frame. So we're just passing in the path of our data with some parameters. So let's just give that a run to import our data. And if we use the print schema method, we can quickly see what our schema is. So as you can see here, our dynamic frame schema, which has been defined on read, is actually incorrect. So we can see that everything has been defined as a string, but in reality, I know that this is not the case. For example, my order ID should be an int, my total amount should be a double because this is a number, and order date should actually be a date. So let's go ahead and make these changes. All right, so the next step here is we're going to create a new variable. So this dynamic frame variable is going to be dynamic frame underscore customer datetime updated. And now I'm going to pass in the original dynamic frame that was created from the method above. Great. Now we can add a dot, and we're going to use the resolveChoice method, which is coming from the dynamic frame class. And in order for this to work, we only have to pass one mandatory parameter. So I'm going to make specs equal to, and now we're going to be passing in the columns and their data types that we want to convert. So I'm going to create a new list, and within that list, I'm going to add a tuple. So one tuple for each column that we want to add. So the first column we want to convert is order ID, and we want to make this a string. Now next there's going to be a comma, and the second value we want to put in is going to be cast. And we're going to make that equal to int. Great. So we're saying, hey, our order ID column needs to be casted as an integer. All right, next we're going to add the second column we want to convert. So I'm adding another tuple, and it's going to be string, and it's going to be total underscore amount. Now let's add the cast parameter. So cast double. And for our last column we want to convert, we're going to add order date, and we're going to then cast it as a date column. Great, and we're just going to close off our brackets and then close off our method there. And if I got everything right, this should work and we shouldn't get an error being returned. All right, great. So now if we just want to see what our schema looks like, I'm just going to use that print schema method again. And now we can see that our dynamic frame, so as you can see from above, it was a string here. Now order date is been set to an integer, and we have total amount being a string, and now that's double, and order date has been successfully converted to a date. So if this was the only transformation you wanted to do, we could use one of the write methods to write our dynamic frame to an output location, or we can continue to do additional transformations if we need it. If you want to refer back to this example, I've uploaded it to my GitHub repo, which can be found in the description below. So there you go. We've successfully changed our data types of our data set to be the correct data types. I hope you found this video helpful. You can click this link here to see my full PySpark ETL playlist. Thanks so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing for more videos on working with data on AWS. Thanks again, and see you next time.